All right, live from Brooklyn, Ladyada, what is this?
Hey, everybody, and welcome to Show and Tell. It's me, Ladyada, with me, Mr. Ladyada, on this roller coaster we call life as manufactured in the US. But let's take a break from that. We'll do tariff talk later and check in with folks from around the community. First up, we've got Jayy, our favorite robot maker.
That's right, Jayy from Jayy.cute. And I would want to mention that we were briefly talking before we all got live here on Show and Tell Us. We just checked in with our friends at Jayy.cute because I saw them in the news because they're like the center of the world right now because obviously people are talking about tariffs and everything. And it was really good to see some folks from Jayy.cute because it reminds me of the last time we all had to come together and do things. And how can we get the electronics to people constantly, always, and make maybe the rest of the world's problems not be the first thing you think of when you want to build something? I don't know the answer, but I do know that I know Jayy.cute does a really good job. So anyways, Jay, what you got going on this week?
I've been working on these. I've been calling them my comet crawlers, which are going to be an open source project, which are these little bug crawler robots.
Yeah. Yeah. What's their code name? They have
currently just comet crawlers, or just comet. I haven't really thought of like a cool anagram. Yeah. But they can crawl around pretty well. They dance.
Oh, I love the little leg motion.
Me.
They little dance. Yeah, I ended up making a lot of them because I've been testing out different ways of making them work. They're powered by Adafruit Feather, believe it or not.
I believe it.
It's the 32U4 radio controller module I have in here, and then also the 8 servo controller.
Yeah.
So it's a simple, easy to put together system, but I'm running into some small power issues and also just smaller details that I'm still playing around with. And I want to make sure that I can radio control it as well. So I'm still, before I make it all fully open source, give it to everybody, I want to fix out those problems first. But
yeah, that's a lot of motors. You're definitely gonna, you're gonna have power issues as they all turn on at once, especially if they're fighting against gravity.
Yeah, it's about 8 servos, I believe, is working with them right now. And they're doing pretty good. Like this one, it has a better charged battery compared to this one. This one I didn't charge for a while, and you can kind of like see it in the leg movements.
Yeah, that's a very cute robot.
Yeah, I'm going to be working on some designs for it tomorrow during a live stream I have with Jayy.cute at 3:30 my time, 5:30 their time. But I plan to be working on like some other designs for the head. So if someone doesn't want like a round head, they can try a different head they can print out. So I'm going to be playing with the design a bit during the live stream. People can come and ask me questions about them and things.
All right. Jay, can I ask you 3 questions?
Sure.
Okay. She doesn't know what I'm going to ask. So now you've been working with robotics and getting them to move around and everything. Do you think, because there's that kind of funny meme about like everything will eventually be a crab? Are you finding this like crab-like thing is where you've gravitated towards with movement? Because it's like, well, if I'm going to do this, eventually crab shape is kind of where it's at.
Well, yes and no. I was originally going, oh, don't fall off my table or break. Originally, I was going with more of a spider-like design, but then I was like, I need a board that will be less stress on the brain because I see other hexapods on the internet constantly, but they're like really big projects. And I wanted to make it as simple and small as possible. So I was like, okay, what do we have? I was like, oh, Adafruit has a whole bunch of cool feather boards. Let me try using one of their stuff. Okay, their servo controller uses 8 servos. Cool. Now I have to make sure it's only using 8 servos. That way it's easily to adapt. But yeah, I'm only using like 8 servos for each one, which is good. It's like the hip and then the foot. But at the same time, I have messed up a few times where I've like accidentally powered it wrong and fried 8 servos. So
that's the risk, huh?
Yeah, it's the risk.
Yeah, it's almost as bad as a computer or tequila. It just multiplies mistakes so fast.
Yeah, and taking it apart is not hard to take apart, but it still is a bother, at least in my opinion. But I'm trying to make them very customized. They're super cute, and then I want to be able people to radio control them because right now they're just moving through some pre-recorded movements I got on here. Okay.
Second question: did you see the video that's going around of the what it looks like the Boston Dynamics big dog, little dog, and they put a rubber costume around it and made it look like a dragon, and it's at the Universal.
Yeah, I saw that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, wasn't it
more like that? Like, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I was gonna say it was really interesting how cuddly and cute it got instantly. That was kind of scary. I was like, I want to pet it now.
That's a
like,
good use of those robots, not
Yeah.
what they were designed for.
But it was like it was so cute. And I'm just like, oh, that isn't that Black Mirror thing that I always think about when I see these now. So I was just did you see it?
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, I've been
Okay,
watching it all over the internet constantly.
Yeah, I figured you did.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I might see Jason about that. And then the third one is if you keep making robots for a long period of time and they become sentient, do you think they're going to make other robot friends, or do you think they would make pets and companions? Like, what do you think robots would do?
I think pets or companions would be kind of like cool, like because everyone at this point is using ChatGPT as is. Imagine if you gave ChatGPT an actual body that can like talk with you as you're walking around your house.
Yeah. So you think a sentient robot would want a friend as well?
It all depends on what we define as sentient, because human sentience and robot sentience may be two different things. Because robots legitimately just want to help you. Human sentience, we kind of like usually want to do our own thing, and then we find people who agree with us doing the thing together. But,
yeah. I was just wondering. I wonder if there will ever be pets of whatever we call these, LLMs or whatever it ends up being. Will they want pets, or will they just want other identical things like them? They want.
I don't know. That'll be fun to see. Maybe be like a cell phone thing, like everyone gets one, but it's always like customizable. So they get the iPhone Bot 7 that connects to your phone. I don't know.
Yeah. So I don't know. Do they want to make something and take care of it, like a pet or something? Okay. Look, I don't have a lot of people talking to about this. Okay. We're gonna move on. Bye, Jay. I'll see you. All right. Sometimes Lamore says, "Phil, can you ask someone else about this?" Okay. Trevor, what you got going on this week today?
Hey, what's up? This is what I have going on this week. So I'm not sure if you guys know, well, some of the audience knows about this, but we are working on a new 2D platformer game. It's called The Great Search. Recently, we've added a new enemy type. Here is Sparky the Blue Smoke Monster. We've also added an animation that also takes care of Sparky. So boom, get out of here, Sparky. So so we added a new like spinning animation, an attack animation, which is pretty cool. We've also added some new functionality to the game. So now like you can interact with these like message boards, like right here. Detour. No, you can't squeeze through. If you're headed to the Adafruit factory, take the subway path. You're welcome. Very rude. From transit management. And yeah, that's basically what we have going on. We've also added like some with this new attack, you can also like jump super high up if you hold on to it, which kind of like adds a bit more complexity to the game, and it's also kind of looks kind of cool. I like it. Is there anything else? Nice. It's gonna like glide downwards very slowly, which is pretty cool.
Anyway. So for the folks who are wondering, like, why are we doing this? One, we've done iOS things for a while. This is another way to do it called Godot, and we get a lot for making something once, so it can go on Android, and Mac PC, and Android and iOS. And so it just means that we potentially have a platform, and we wanted to do something that might be able to teach electronics, have different levels to do things. I guess we'll have to make Tariff Town, adventures in Terravania. But we also, because we'll have a story and you'll build something and you'll have to get these components and stuff. But there's also not an abundance of female heroes in games still that build things or the hero. And this is Ladyada, and we have your persona that is someone. I think it's like that's just a cool person. It has nothing to do that she's lady engineer. But it goes along with it, and it's like I feel like if you're a little girl, you're like, oh, I want to. It doesn't all have to be princesses and things inside of video games.
It could be engineers as well.
Especially then when you start adding things like a game like this where you're, like I like the RoboCop game that's kind of like that. Like, but that's not. No one grows up and wants to be RoboCop yet. All the time.
Mean, I did, but all right.
Yeah, I know.
Sure.
Okay, thank you, Trevor.
Thanks, Trev.
Next up, we're gonna go to Melissa, And
She also has a game.
oh, did I interrupt you playing something on your computer? Is that Minesweeper?
It's actually on the Metro RP2350 here. And yeah, it's not Minesweeper, it is Chips Challenge here.
Oh.
This game is now complete, and I'm going to show you one of the things I added to it since I showed it off last time is you can do dialogues, and it's going to bring it up. It's a little slow here, but like if I wanted to go to level 20, and then I can go to here and type in the password KGP. Then it'll go ahead and...
That's a fun, clever thing for saving things, too, to go to different times in a game. It's a good idea.
So, yeah, it has all the different mechanisms here that it goes through. And I have a guide now written about making this here, and I'll go ahead and put that into chat.
All right.
Sweet.
Very, very
What was
cool.
it originally written for, this game? What was it? Windows
It was originally written for Windows 3.1 as part of the Windows Entertainment Pack 4. And I did a remake here, and it's all written in CircuitPython.
That's cool. I like how you even got that like green countdown font.
Yeah.
That's very Microsoft.
Yeah, some neurons just got reactivated
Windows
from like
3.1.
30 years ago, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Did you redraw the sprites, or did you find somebody who had extracted them?
I redrew the sprites in the game itself, but the timers are actually from the original game.
Commitment.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is neat. And the other thing, as people use a lot of these LLMs and AI tools or whatever, there'll be a lot of stuff out there that you want to like translate from one code base to something else to run on something else. And I think we'll see more of that as people do code archaeology. And want to run things on microcontrollers because microcontrollers are so much faster now.
Yeah,
And
it's so cool. You can do DVI output and keyboard or mouse input on an RP2350 and like actually have your little mini computer. It's really cool.
That's so cool.
Okay.
All right,
Nice
thanks
work,
so much.
Melissa.
Yeah,
classic.
And there's a different dialogue I added to there.
Yeah, look out for creatures.
Oops, look out. All right, AP, what is going on this week?
Hey, so speaking of games and code archaeology, I've got an Xbox 360 guitar here, and that one's interesting because Microsoft actually always shipped Xbox controllers with a little dongle that gave you a USB port on it, even though the system used a little round controller. So you'd think you could plug these into like a Mac or a PC and play something like Clone Hero or Fortnite Festival, but you can't. It shows up as an Xbox 360 controller to an Xbox 360, and that's about it. So there is an open source project called Santroller that you can use to plug into a USB host microcontroller. And in my case, I've got, I'll go to this camera, I've got a Feather RP2040 USB host here. So my guitar's plugged into it, and then this microcontroller is plugged into a laptop over here, and I'm able to then go ahead and tell all of the different keys to map to the game, any game you want. A side bonus is that there's LED support. So if you can see here, as I'm pressing the whammy bar, I've got a sort of analog NeoPixel going on. If I press up, down, you're going to start seeing stuff happen on the game there. I'm lighting up some LEDs, and then I have them for all of the different buttons on the neck there. So let me go up and I'll just start a game for a moment on easy mode because I can't do two things at once. Here we go. So whammy bar works, tilt works.
It's like a Radiohead concert.
Okay.
Nice.
And I'll stop it before we get copy strike. I don't know what the story is with that song, but
yeah,
that's Clone Hero there, and that's like you were talking about with game archaeology. People wanted to keep playing these games even when consoles disappear, and someone created a game that's essentially Guitar Hero for computers.
I think that games are. You have to join it and like, okay, the next 3 months of my life is this video game. I think people want more live or not that they want one or the other. I think they want both, but more in-person experiences like these type of physical games. But also, it's like there's a beginning, middle, and end within 15 or 20 minutes or however long you have.
Yep. 4 minutes you can play one of these.
And a lot of the retro things are like that. But we have amazing new hardware that we can put all this on. So cool.
Yeah, so this, I mean, I was surprised to find out how easy it was to adjust some settings and get this firmware to work on a Feather. It's designed for Pico, so it's not a huge surprise, but it works great on the Feather RP 2040 USB host. I can put that closer there.
All right, cool. Yeah, I mean, like no solder required. Just
no solder required unless you want to go the extra mile and do the LED thing, but that's a bonus. And you can tell it to configure to deal with drums, the turntables, the keyboard, so kind of any of the things that you can play on this if you want to do like an in-person experience, Phil, and have the full Rock Band kind of thing. You can go to the thrift store, find some old controllers, and get a few feathers and plug them in. So I'm gonna write up a little learn guide on how to do that. It's dead simple, and I'm very excited how easy it was to get that up.
Yeah, and you know the other thing, and I don't think I'm the only one who has this thought. It's like, oh, I want to go play the following, and then I think about the game or the console or whatever it's on, and I'm like, oh, you know what? I haven't played that in a while, and there's going to be so many updates I'm going to have to install. I don't have the 3 hours to do that before I want to do that 15-minute game.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm just gonna skip. It's kind of like looking at Netflix and just flicking by all the titles.
Yeah, I can spend an hour looking at.
It's like, oh, I did nothing.
And never watch a movie.
I don't have Netflix anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, sweet.
Thanks, JP.
Thanks, JP.
And then no JP's workshop this
Thursday. Tomorrow I'll be traveling, but I'll be back next week, and we'll be digging into this as well as the Larzio Paint music.
Yeah, there's a lot of it's spring break right now. A lot of people are out.
All right. Party on.
Yeah.
JP.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Last up tonight, Squid. What you got going on?
Hello.
.jpg.
I'm back again. Oh, I whiffed it last week when I was trying to show a time lapse of the project that I was working on. So thought I would try that again real quick, and then if it's okay, I want to show off one other thing real quick. Sweet. So let me present my screen. This is where I lost it last time. Let's see. Share screen. There we go. It looks like we're in luck this time. All right. So hopefully you should see that now.
Yeah.
And so this is, it's too fast to happen here, but when it starts up while it's waiting to connect, it'll show a little slideshow because sometimes it could take a little while.
Yeah.
And then we get into it. And I just kind of wanted to show it off in motion as it goes because, you know, it's cool to see it, just to glance at it once in a while and see where it is. But it's, you know, with that periodic update, you don't really get to see it in motion, and you don't kind of get to see the trail move like that. And this is my favorite part here is when the lights turn red when it gets close to you.
Look up.
Yeah, exactly. Go outside.
Okay, stop looking up.
Yeah.
Go back.
Okay, it's over. You could go back outside or inside depending on what's going on right now in your life or how you feel about what's above you.
Right.
Nice.
And yeah, I kind of wanted to show off.
It trails off a little bit. That's cute.
Thanks. Yeah, this is all CircuitPython, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that last time. It's CircuitPython, Display.io. All the text rendering and stuff is something I spent a good bit of time on because you never know, you know, when you get stuff from the internet, what it's going to be. So I had to like account for a lot of different stuff. So yeah, you can kind of see as we go through that, just these giant names. A lot of work to prevent characters that I can't print from seeping through. And little details like that. But yeah, that's basically that.
Nice.
And then let's see. And then the other part is I wanted to show off. Let's see. Let me go to this other camera here. And this was the finished project. I actually took the case that Adafruit made, and I made a few modifications to it, whatever. But the thing that I really like about this is just how everything looks with the lights on.
Ooh.
Yeah, it just it kind of
looks like it belongs in a ship.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was going for. I even put in like the front-facing screws on purpose because I thought it would look a little more like I don't know, space station-y, prototype-y.
It does
kind of thing.
The first thing I thought of was that movie where was it maybe Scarlett Johansson was in it, but another guy, and like he woke up early and then he woke her up later, and it was I don't know. Anyways, it was
How are you doing the front lighting? Is it a front light sheet or is it like just edge lighting?
It's just the 4 NeoPixels that came on it, and what I did, one of the modifications that I made to the case was just to push the front out a little bit more, so it would give the LEDs more of a chance to reflect back onto the screen.
Off.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. And it did such a good job on the edge lighting, especially like around the bottom of the screen and the buttons. I'm like super happy with how that part of it turned out.
Yeah. All right. Nice work.
And there's one other thing I would like to show, if that's okay.
Okay.
It's super quick. If I can, let's see.
It looks like a luxury
out of
boat.
the way.
Spacious luxury boat.
Yeah. So we've seen the board speaker, the Severance board speaker that Noah and Pedro and Liz worked on. I made one this weekend, but I wanted to give it kind of a little bit of my own extra juice. So I built a switch onto the back of it. And what it's doing is it's intercepting the signal from the Bluetooth, and before it puts it out to the audio, it's actually doing FFT on it and lighting up the lights to it.
Nice.
And so I have it not playing the audio right now for a couple of reasons. I was worried about playing like copyrighted music or something.
Yeah.
So what I did was I have this show and tell running on my phone hooked up to the speaker, and we're seeing maybe a couple seconds delayed the FFT from that.
That's nice of you to
cute.
do that. It's not a death penalty or anything yet if we play a little bit of music.
Right.
Okay.
And I was worried about that, and I was worried kind of about feedback through the whole thing, and I didn't want to blast everyone's ears either.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. Really good job. And also, it reminds you of, it's translucent too in some way, and it looks like the weird speaker that never came with one of the early iMacs.
Oh yeah, that is true.
Yeah,
I really love the design of this. It's so cool, and they reproduced it perfectly. Like,
half breadbox, half iMac.
Liz was really into the show, so I think she spent.
Yeah, it's such a good show. Yeah, and they did such a great job. And the firmware that they chose to kind of to base everything on is really excellent too. The Arduino audio tools, it really only took me like an hour and maybe 200 to 300 lines of code to get like some really nice looking FFT going and stuff. And so
what I like too is the people who work on the show use our stuff. And so it's kind of like a perfect, like, they're using our stuff, they're allowed to talk about it, the show has fans, people are building stuff around it, and then you got a cool project. So anywho.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
mean, I put all this together, but it's like it's built on so many other people's really hard and extensive work.
Yeah, and as it should be. They want to put it out to see. You put this stuff out so you can see what other people do with it.
Absolutely.
Okay, nice work, Squid.
Thank you, Squid.jpg.
It's good to see you.
All right, everybody, that's our show and tell. That was fantastic. This was my favorite 23 minutes of the day today.
The bar's a little low, though.
No, but it's been a good day now in this 23 minutes. Did anything happen while we were doing this? We'll find out soon. We're doing show and tell right after this. Stop by.
Ask Engineer.
Yeah. Stop by Ask an Engineer in 7 minutes. Show and tell every single week, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Wednesdays is the show we do here now. And then Ask an Engineer at 8 p.m. will be on in just a minute.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.